Today, we are thrilled to have Michelle Lancaster, who's a Global Director of Sustainability Microsoft Worldwide. Michelle, how are you? So excited to have you on board.
I am well. How are you? It's good to connect.
It's been a very long time, isn't it?
Indeed. But sustainability never stops, and APAC is going to be one of our busiest regions thanks to folks like you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And as you mentioned about sustainability, right? I was just reading in the news and it's just unbelievable that we have already spent a year since we made announcements on Microsoft going carbon negative by 2030. What are some of your favorite highlights from the last year?
Oh, that's a great question, although it feels like picking among favorite children. They're all my favorites. But we just recently put out our first annual sustainability report and covered some of our highlights as well as our lessons learned. And I think there are probably three things that really stand out on our carbon progress. The first is we made big progress on our carbon removal commitment. So we put out a request for proposals, got more than 200 applications in, and ultimately ended up signing a little more than 10 contracts that are going to help us remove 1.3 million metric tons of CO2 from the atmosphere this year. I think the second thing is what we learned from that carbon removal process. And what we learned is, boy, we have a lot more work to do. I think we knew that it was going to be a challenge to have the technology, the verification, and the markets all working together to bring carbon removal into the mainstream. So that's really been great for us to see, because we've rolled up our sleeves across all of Microsoft to do exactly that. And the third one is probably getting all the way into the code level of what Microsoft does. It's not just about sucking carbon out of the atmosphere. It starts with how we devise and design our software. And so we have taken steps this year to actually go in and analyze down to the code level for each individual service, starting to get carbon baseline numbers for all of them. And our Windows team has kicked off a project that is now focused on building out energy efficiency across the top 10 Windows applications.
Tell us a little bit more about our approach on the ecosystems and how can startups play an integral role to kind of accelerate our own goals and aspirations.
Yeah, startups are going to play an incredibly important role, not only in Microsoft's journey, but in the overall global society progression towards transforming to net zero in the time that we've got up until 2030. We have seen companies like us who are aware, we are working on this, but the startups are nimble, they're fast, they're able to really focus in on one specific area and bring all of their attention and energy to that. Some of the projects that we supported through our carbon removal project are, I would say, they're recently graduated startups in really, doing their third and fourth round of funding. We need them to be doing that work because we are not going to be domain experts on all of the things across sustainability. We don't want to be at Microsoft, and we don't think anybody is. So we really need the power of our technology platform to be supporting all of the entrepreneurs and innovators and startups that are focusing on, how do you solve direct air capture? How do you attach tiny RFID codes to clothing materials so you can enable a circular economy? Those types of solutions are going to be powered by Microsoft, but they're going to be created by the innovators. And it's a huge opportunity. It's a really quickly growing market, and we're really excited about the opportunities that we have to support their work.
Excellent. And Michelle, I love the point that you mentioned, right? Because if you think about a lot of these startups who are building solutions geared towards sustainability, it's a very new and niche area. And they need a lot of support from partners like Microsoft and even enterprises to kind of help them accelerate and grow. So what are some of the advices that you would give for companies who are probably more late stage startups who are thinking about their own sustainability journey in terms of how they can learn from some of our own best practices, failures, and successes?
One of the things that we have been talking about a lot is what that maturity journey looks like of when you start sustainability at a company? Where are you really coming into, and what's the best place to get started? And we realized that the first place is really around the numbers. You either start by setting a target, and then after you've set a public target, working backwards to figure out where you are and how far that target is going to be to hit, or you start with the data and then build out your target for what you want to be in terms of reducing carbon or carbon neutral or net negative, and work backwards from there. But I think for our experience has been it doesn't really matter too much where you start. It matters when you start. And so it's never too early to think about what your sustainability story is.
So what is next for Microsoft?
I think there are probably two notable things that people will start to see from Microsoft in the next 6 to 12 months. The first is to really start seeing detailed data about how we are implementing roadmaps and the impact that that's having on our actual emissions. And the second piece is really around our product suite. We spent a lot of time in the past year talking about our operational goals. We talked about products and solutions and how important customers and partners are. But last year was really the year of setting world-leading commitments. And this is the year of building world-leading products. So we are really excited about the full time frame with probably 2 to 3 things coming out to market that should be really useful and that Microsoft is quite frankly using themselves too on our journey.
Exciting times ahead, and I'm sure it is going to keep you extremely busy, Michelle.
It's if you're not busy in the world of sustainability, I think you're probably not doing it right, because there's a lot of work to do and not a lot of time to do it. But it is, I think, really exciting. And I think, one of the things that maybe not everybody sees, but it is a cross-company effort at Microsoft. Yes, we had our CEO and our CFO and our Chief Sustainability Officer on stage together, but the employee response has been incredible across the board. And I think, it's top down and bottom up, and really something that the company is not just focused on, as you said, as a CSR issue, but really as a reason for existing as a business, both, as a revenue model, but also as what the business needs to be to succeed and to continue to serve the world the way that we want to.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It was incredible to have you today with us. I'm sure our startups and our audience have got incredible value learning from Microsoft's own startup journey, but essentially how they can also shape their own journey as well. Now, before you leave, typically the whole world knows you as Sustainability Champ, but we would love to know a little bit more about you as Michelle. So we have prepared some rapid fire questions for you, and you have to answer those questions in 1 to 3 words. So are you ready?
I am very bad at curtailing how many words I have, but yes, let's do it.
If you could choose anything to do for a day, what would it be?
Pre-pandemic, it would probably be to sit outside and read a book with a glass of wine. Post-pandemic, probably sit anywhere that my husband and 5-year-old are not.
Good one. How would your friends describe you in 1 word?
Enthusiastic.
What's the most daring thing you have ever done?
I probably, when I was in my 20s, we went on vacation in Greece with my best friend, and we ended up scratching all of our plans and backpacking through 2 of the islands with no hotel reservations and almost no money.
What's your favorite type of foreign food?
Thai food.
Is your glass half full or half empty?
I'm feeling good today. It's a good conversation. I'm going to say half full. Of coffee or wine, I will not tell you, but it's half full of something.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It was absolutely fantastic to have you today. I'm sure our audience learned a lot through our conversation. I surely did. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. We are super excited about the intersection of startups and sustainability at Microsoft and love the work that you guys are doing.